Can people, can everyone hear us okay? Somebody answer, please.
Thumbs up.
Okay, good.
Douglas.
We got the, excellent. Well, I am here for a treat because we have some friends who showed up to embarrass me. Thank you. Thank you. Good old friends, new friends. So it's a pleasure to be here and thank you for this blessed house to give me the opportunity to speak to everyone. It's more of a conversation, less of a presentation. I'll try to make this interactive, so be prepared. And if it gets out of hand, I'll bring us back so that we can continue on track. But feel free to participate. And some people know that I always have a plan B because I never know how many people are going to show up. So I bring my family, and we are 6. So 3 are here, 3 are online, and I brought my sister too, who here, Andrea, somewhere here, because just in case, we don't have enough people. So we still have an audience. No, I'm kidding. So how's my driving? I was obviously, some of you know, I like to drive, like cars. And I was driving and I saw this big truck with this sign on the back. Have you seen those that say, how's my driving? And now you're like, you pay attention. Are they driving okay? Are they not? And then you say, well, how am I driving? And then, of course, we couldn't escape AI. Some of us here are very passionate. I know of one individual, at least, that's very passionate. 2 individuals, actually, who are very passionate about AI. And one thing that AI does well is to draw analogies. So I'm like, I'm going to invite my little friend to help me make an analogy so that we can talk about spiritism and driving. And actually worked out pretty well. Although I had the idea in my head, it just really helped me put the story together. And what we're going to talk about is think a little bit about, imagine if we were going to drive your cars and we are still at an age where we have to drive. I know maybe in 2 generations, nobody's going to know how to drive because it's all going to be self-driving. But for now, we need to know how to drive. And imagine if you didn't know the rules. Imagine what a mess it would be, right? So I suppose everyone here drives. I suppose everyone had to go through some sort of school, learn the rules, and no, yes, there's still time to do that.
I'm learning with you now.
Okay, okay. So that's one thing I promise, right? At the end of this talk, you know a little bit about driving. You'll be a better driver.
There you go.
Hopefully, you know a little bit more about spiritism. Those who don't, so that's a good intro. And hopefully, be at least feel like you want to be a slightly better person, and that's the goal. You will learn a little bit about AI too in the process, but not too much. So knowing the rules of the road, knowing the rules that govern, how to drive. First of all, it's a shared code, right? You don't, you sometimes you see people like, I don't know how this person's driving, but most people know how to drive, and the way we can get from point A to B without dying is because we all share the same code. If we follow the rules, it's normally the safest and the fastest way to get to where we need to go. And if we forget to follow the rules, what happens? Bad things. We can get a fine, can get an accident. So it's almost like, of course, you have to know the rules. Well, how about life? Do we know the rules? So I'm going to start by saying that throughout history, there have always been some types of codes. So it's not like we had 0 codes. There were different codes, right? In the Old Testament, there were the 10 Commandments. Then Jesus came and shared, for those of us who are Christian, and shared new codes. And then Spiritism came and double-clicked on those codes so that, it would be a little easier for us to understand. But we don't think too much about this, right? So who here, and you don't have to raise your hand to be ashamed, but who here feel like you really know the rules down? like, the rules of life. You can recite all of them, you know them, and there's zero risk that you're gonna forget about them or just, go against it. Oh,
all of them or some?
Okay, good. Brave individual there, sir. Very good.
Know it or do it.
Yeah. What we learn is that thankfully there are rules. It's not chaos, and it's not a mystery. We've been presented those rules over time, and we have the latest set of those rules that we're going to go through here. And obviously, knowing those rules can be tremendously helpful. It will help us avoid accidents, avoid pain, and avoid suffering. So, let's see if we know them. I promise you, by the end of the talk, you will know them by heart. So, if you don't, if you live here without learning anything, you're going to learn a few of those rules and have a lot to think about, right? That's the goal. So you're the driver, right? Your body is the vehicle, and life is this grand trip. So how is your driving? So I want to, everyone to ask yourselves, how are you? How is your driving? So let's talk about those rules, the rules of the road. And we've been presented with these rules in Spiritism through the works of Allan Kardec. So those of you who don't know Allan Kardec, he was a scientist and a professor in the 1850s in France who came across some phenomena, and he got interested and he researched and he got involved in that with that phenomena, and from that he learned that he was selected to do a work that nobody else probably would do so well, which is to organize just an immense amount of information that he was given around these spiritual teachings or spiritual, kind of learnings that were being presented at that time. And that process happened actually everywhere, not just in France. It happened in the US as well, but it kind of took hold in France. And the first product of that very meticulous work of organizing that learning is the Spiritist book that was issued in 1857. So almost 170 years ago, Kardec presented us with the Spiritist book, which is a book that has 1,019 questions and answers that he organized. The answers come from the spirits. Questions came mostly from him. And, I would hazard to say it's kind of our manufacturer's handbook. Right? It kind of brings a lot of those rules that we're going to talk about today. And if we study them, as we do here in the center, I think it helps. So there are 10 of them. Interesting that there are 10. What else has a 10? 10 commandments, right? So I don't think they needed to be 10, but I think the spirits are very didactic. They're like, why make it complicated? We'll make 10 as well, so that you have something to compare. But they are not necessarily one-to-one, but a lot of the same essence is here in the spiritual, this universal laws, which we call the divine laws. The first one, right, is this innate feeling that every people or peoples on earth have, no matter if they are isolated in the middle of the desert or a forest. We all bring this feeling that there's something bigger than us, and we feel the need to worship. And the principle is that, we try to calibrate, to elevate our thoughts. We kind of check our, GPS to understand where we are going. And whenever we feel lost, it's always a great thing to kind of reconnect. And if we listen, we reroute and kind of, get back on the right path. Now, listening is a whole different story that we're going to talk about, a little later. I mean, you can connect, you can get the message, and sometimes you're like, doesn't interest me, right? I don't want to hear. It's kind of, no, I'm not going to do this. The other one is the law of labor. So we complain about work, but it's a law. The other interesting thing about these laws, they were framed exactly as such. They are not options. They're like, oh, you can opt in. They are laws. What do you do about laws? Can you escape them? No.
Can try.
You can try. You can try. So that's what the spirits tell us is there's a set of forces that guide us. And even if you try to resist, they will still find a way to bring you in. So we talked about worship. The law of labor is another one. And we learn that it's through our effort. Labor in the sense that you cannot produce something without effort. It's impossible. Anything of value that we do, anything that fulfills us, has to come from our own effort. And that is really the law of labor. It would be unjust if I would magically sit on my couch and produce fantastic output, better than Ryan's, and then Ryan's like, damn it, how do you do this? Right? And I'm like, no, I don't, because it doesn't work that way. You have to put effort in. And this is really the engine that propels us forward, right? It's through this labor that we improve, that we learn morally and intellectually and improve. So as Andre Lewis says in the world of the spirit, in the chapter called Definitions, says work is a blessing from the Heavenly Father by which we blot out our imperfections. And it is the great mechanism of improvement. Oh, the law of reproduction. So this is an interesting one. Kind of a complicated one to talk about, I'll be honest with you. Not me, because I have 4 kids, but for all intents and purposes, I guess I'm following the law. And all the credit goes to my wife, because my part was very easy. Very hard. And this is what ensures that we have new drivers joining the highway of life all the time. Now, why is that important? Does anyone know? Right? Because of one other important reality that the spirits came to tell us, which is reincarnation. Right? We also learn that this process of improvement, it happens at this stage in our existence through reincarnation, and there's no way around it. You have to incarnate to be here, right? So we all are here, and if our moms and dads had not, had the inspiration, desire to have us, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here, right? We wouldn't be talking. We wouldn't be listening. So we have a debt of gratitude. However, is that we think our parents are, just for one thing at least, which is to be able to be here. And the other thing is that this also speaks to the family. The family is the first driving school that we go through. Right? It's also inescapable that it's where we start learning a lot of these rules is within our own families. And boy, do we have challenges, right? It's a very tough school. Before we go out on the wider road, we have to manage the drivers at home. And anyone disagrees? So we have not experienced that. That's the only thing we learn, right? It's the same story, right? We think our problem is special and that we have more difficulty than the average person, or that we drive better than the other. That's an interesting thing as well. I bet that if I ask you, do you think you are a better driver than the average driver? I'm sure a lot of people are going to raise their hand. Do you think you are? Who thinks they are a better driver than the average driver? Well, the other people think too, but they are not. Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah, we know.
Oh, okay. Some people are humble enough to admit. But that's the other thing that we have this perception that for some reason we drive better than the other person, and the other person thinks exactly the same.
Well, if you get in a lot of wrecks and a lot of tickets, you get constant feedback telling you.
Then you're like, maybe I'm not a great driver.
Yeah.
That's a good point. We're gonna come back to that. How do we get feedback? Yeah, that's a good one. Cool. The law of preservation. That's a law. It's not of course we've evolved from instincts, and we have still instincts that protect us, right? You have a lot of reflexes. If someone, if you're hammering and you hit your finger, you kind of pull out if you hit something hot. So you have these reflexes, but it is more than that. It is a law because our bodies are precious, right? It's the vehicle that we use to go through our incarnation, and we all have a duty to preserve it as best as we can. We have the occasional cheeseburger, as we're going to have tonight after the meeting. We are taking care of the spirit, and then we're going to take care of the flesh. But most of the time, we try to protect it. Same thing with our cars, right? You have to give maintenance. You have to take care of it, right? You have to avoid overusing it, and you have to be safe, right? Wear a seatbelt, and etc. So, what does this mean as well when it comes to some very, dramatic, tragic events in life when people think about or decide to take their lives, right? We also learn that, we are breaking a law, and as with anything, breaking a law has consequences. So we learn through Spiritism. Another benefit of Spiritism is that when we have the spirits to come back and tell us what happened, right? There's multiple accounts from spirits that come through mediums who can psychograph or speak that will tell us what happens with the amount of pain and suffering that taking your own life creates. Of course, we are all part of this perfect universe where the Creator is just infinitely loving and caring, and we all have second and third and fourth chances. So nobody's condemned to be suffering forever, but you do have a consequence, and the consequence immediately after those acts is dramatic. I mean, we hear and we study that. So another great reason for us to consider life to be very, very precious. So far, so good?
Amen.
Well, there's the law of destruction. It's interesting, right? There's a balance here. You have to preserve, but there is a law that requires things to be destroyed occasionally. And that happens everywhere. Right now in Austin is pure chaos. There's so much work going on the roads that it's like there was a war, or we've been bombed. But that something beautiful is going to come out. Imagine when all that work in the Y is done. Ryan and I will get to downtown in, I don't know, 20 minutes?
Yes.
Probably, right? So it has a purpose. The purpose is you have to destroy to rebuild. And as Leon Denis says, and after that, in nature, nothing dies but to be born again, or nothing gets lost. Everything transforms. I guess that was something I learned from Lavoisier when I was very young in school. Right? Nothing, whatever he said, nothing gets lost. Everything transforms. Nothing is created, nothing is lost. Everything transforms. Mm-hmm. Oh, the law of society. So when you were learning how to drive, how did you learn how to drive? Did someone teach you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is the law of society. We learn from each other. Maybe we can be self-taught, but at large, at scale, we don't progress if we don't interact. So this is counter to certain philosophies that would propose that we isolate, that we go, out in a mountain or in a cave and stay there, contemplating, just praying, meditating. That's potentially good for a short while, but certainly not a model for life because you get stuck. You don't learn. We only learn and we only progress through interaction, especially with difficult people. Right?
Right.
That's the difficult people that teaches us what we need to learn.
Because we're very easy.
Because we are better drivers, right? But the other drivers,
The others are different.
the others are difficult. Yes, imagine that. So this is why we are born into families. This is why we feel most of the time we feel the need to be around people. It's
Challenging.
it is challenging. And talking about that and connecting back to the law of reproduction, we are in a populational crisis. I don't know if you have been following the news. It's interesting how this is so innate that countries have programs now, at least two of them have very large programs to stimulate reproduction. One is Japan, which is reducing at a alarming rate. I think they lost 1 million people last year, and they are shrinking at that rate. In less than 100 years, there won't be Japan or Japanese people. They're going to be gone. And Greece, this past week, just passed a 1.6 billion euros package to stimulate people to have kids because the population is shrinking. And even though you don't have to be spiritist to understand this, or a Christian for that matter, it's just that common sense is we cannot disappear. I mean, there won't be an earth if we all disappear, right? So, someone has to stay behind. And that's, and if we stay, we gotta interact.
Well, that is actually to have more white people because there's quite a lot of people in Europe.
That's right. Well, and it's an imbalance. You're right. There's an imbalance, right? Because there's thankfully there's ethnicities that are making up
Yeah.
for those who are not procreating, and they have a large average of people. But again, this, and by the way, the other concept here is that each one of these laws can be a talk. We could spend an hour just double clicking on each one of them, which we're not going to do. The goal here is just to go through, because then we have to think about, what is it? Why is it, right? When you start thinking about the why is that people are not having kids, and why should they, right? Then it's a whole set of reflections that we are not going to have time to do it here, but you could all do that.
AI one day will.
Yes.
But they cannot reproduce. So
Yet.
we better keep up.
Yes. Okay. Then we come to the law of progress, which is another interesting one, very unique to Spiritism, which very clearly outlines that we all started the same way. Millennia ago, I want to believe, hopefully not billions of years ago. That would mean I'm going very, very, very slow. But maybe millennia ago, and we were simple and ignorant, and that's how each spirit starts. And you go through this journey of evolution. Here's our present, right? Again, without making this too complicated, we know also in Spiritism that there are roughly, again, the spirits are just, the higher spirits are just trying to be didactic and help. So they presented 5 categories of worlds. The number is infinite because there's so many small differences between them, but just roughly speaking, there are 5 categories. There's the primitive worlds. We can remember those. Earth was one of those a long time ago. And then we moved to the second stage, unfortunately. I didn't want to upset anyone, but yeah, we are still on number 2, which is trials and expiations. And soon, the good news is we are transitioning into the third one, which is
Regeneration.
Regeneration. Thank you. And after that, are happy?
Happy and
Be
perfect.
pure.
and then pure. So just for reference, like someone like Jesus Christ came from the pure, level to help us here, but we're still between the second and the third one. But the good news is, as Jesus said, what in the sorry, I may quote the chosen here once or twice because I can't, I just cannot. Right, some of us are obsessed with it. So yesterday was a sad day, I have to say, because we watched the last episode of season 5. And I don't think there's a season 6 yet.
Oh, there will be. There will be.
Okay,
But remember, there's Jonathan Jesus.
yes, what's that?
Remember, there's Jonathan Jesus to watch.
I'm gonna watch Jonathan Jesus next. It's on the list. You're right. So, as Jesus said, what did he tell the disciples? You can do
What I do.
everything that I do and more. Right? So he was enunciating the law of progress, which says you too will reach that level. And my wife or was Leo who kind of rained on the parade, saying, "Well, does that mean that we're going to have to then at some point be responsible for a world, and then they're going to crucify me?" And then I'm like, "Well,
Yeah,
that was you, right?" Now you got me thinking. I'm like, do I really want to go through that and be responsible for a whole planet and then be mistreated? And it's part of the job, okay? But it's a law. We can't escape. Right? We learn that we can try to hold back, we can stagnate, but life will find a way to give us a little nudge. And it tries, and sometimes it gets violent. If we decide to be stuck for too long, it will give us a big jolt, and you'll find a way to get us back on the road, right? Okay, so here's a couple laws, and mind you, this was shared with Kardec almost 170 years ago. Today we look at this and like, duh. But this was 170 years back. Imagine the shock that Kardec had when it was revealed to him. In no uncertain terms, there was no if, buts, and ands. It was, we are all equal. And he's like, come again? We are all equal. And he tried to argue, believe me, he actually got in trouble trying to argue about anatomic differences in people. And the Spirit said, don't do that. You're doing that stupid. We are telling you there's no difference. Well, but how about this type of people? There's no difference. Well, how about that other type? There's no difference. We are all the same. How about women? I'm telling you, it's all the same. So I don't know why you are insisting. And that means that, if you're driving, a red light means stop. And it doesn't matter if you're driving a Ferrari or a beaten up old rusty bicycle. The rules apply to all, and that was a big revelation for Kardec. Believe me, it was. Remember, we still had not gotten out of slavery completely, right? In the 1850s.
Yep. Yep, Brazil was still.
Right? There you go. And here comes the Spirit very clearly saying, So he was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, for him to play that role and have to state exactly what the Spirit told him to state. As I said, today we look at this and it's not a big deal. So imagine what the next set of rules, because those rules are immutable, but the way we understand them evolves, right? They are revealed to us in a way that we can understand at that time. Moses received 10 commandments because that's what we could understand at that point, right? Then when Jesus came, he clarified a lot of those things and gave us new commandments and promised, again, I'm going to quote the chosen, because he did promise the helper, right? The consoler. And here comes Spiritism with this group of higher spirits to say we're going to shed some more light. The light went on. Careful. Careful. And explain this, right? Explain this, and the next set of rules that are going to be reviewed. I don't know when. At some point when we are ready to see, they will, more clearly explain certain things that we don't understand. They may be shocking at the time that they are reviewed, and this happens every time, right? Every time there is something new, we are shocked. We are shocked by AI right now. It's pure shock, right? It's going to take our jobs. It's going to ruin the world. I mean, it's going to go crazy. It's going to kill everybody. We are speaking nicely to the AI. I mean, I speak nicely to my phone. I'm afraid that, people are going, oh, I remember you. You were nasty to me, right? So, yeah, please and thank you. And someone did the math and said, the please and thank yous are costing us a lot. We don't need to do that, but we feel like we have to treat them well. So it's shocking to us right now. But But imagine again the new learnings that will come that will shock us, like this shocked Kardec at that time, right? We'll be shocked again because that's we are just elevated enough to be able to start grasping the next set of teachings. Likewise, the law of freedom, again, is the one that says that we are the ones who have our hands on the steering wheel. Yes, there are rules. Yes, we should not cut in front of the next driver. We shouldn't drive our car into a tree. But we can. It's our free will, right? There's nothing preventing you from doing it. And some people do it. Right? So this is free will. It's an interesting concept which I wrestle with sometimes because I ask myself, do I really have free will? Like knowing that there are rules and it's like you can't escape them. You can try and then you feel the consequence, right? So the law of freedom is also known as law of cause and effect. Free will or cause and effect, because every action has a reaction. You're free to do whatever you want to do, but there will be a consequence. So is there really free will? We don't have to answer here.
As far as you do the right thing, you get the good.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then there's the ultimate law, which is a three-part law, which is the law of justice, law, and charity. And it's kind of an evolution as well, right? The concept of justice is also something that is innate to us. We feel outraged when we see injustice. It's just something that is innate. We don't like injustice. You see something, it bothers you. It bothers you. But that's the first stage, right? Because it means that you want to follow the rules and you want everybody else to follow the rules perfectly. But that over time evolves into love. And love, at that point, you just not want justice alone. You care for the other driver. You want everybody to arrive home safely. And you start to do what? Forgive. Like person, cuts in front of you and like, okay, just go, right? You may say one or two things to yourself in your head. I always laugh when I see people doing like this. They are by themselves in the car and you can see that they are going crazy because someone cut them and they're like, I would love to hear what they are saying there, right?
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Well, basically they're saying.
But then in time, we learn to forgive. Because we remember that we too make mistakes and, we want to be forgiven. And again, Jesus gave us a lot of this. He broke down these rules, right? When was it Peter that went up to Jesus to say how many times how many faults he had to forgive Matthew for, and he counted 7 and
Times 7.
is 7 enough? And Jesus said 70 times 7, right? So, and and we learn. And that evolves into charity, which is the ultimate manifestation of love, which is you see someone in need and you stop. You see a driver with a flat tire or the car is broken and you stop to help because you feel like I want to help. And I know people here, many of you, who have that, what do you call sentiment? It's not an instinct, it's more than an instinct, right? It's a sentiment.
It's this, it's a feeling, it's the love in action, right?
It is love in action. And I am an optimist. I believe in us. I believe in the human race, and I know because I see a lot of that manifestation, right? And people really wanting to help, right? Now, without naming any names, some of us here were part of this. A friend of ours, right, was in need the other day. They had a emergency surgery, and someone said, "Hey, let's do a crowdfund," and it was just unbelievable how fast they raised like $30,000. So you just see all these people who really want to help. You don't have to beg. It's just, hey, here's an opportunity to help, and everybody just poured in. It's beautiful to see, right? So it gives me hope. Gives me hope. So this is the one that we have to master, right? This is the one that Jesus talked about a lot, not just talked about, walk the earth, showing us how to do it. Okay. So this is something that AI has created. So it's we have some time, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
keep going.
So we're gonna do the traffic code game. And again, I told you I was gonna touch a little bit on AI and what you can do with AI. So this is a game that AI created for me. It took exactly 15 seconds for it to create. I just gave it one slide and said, create a game for me. And here's what it did. Look how interesting this is. Okay. I don't know. Oh, can we see?
No.
No.
Maybe we are not going to play the game. But the game, yeah, it's the resolution is not. But anyways,
Yeah, I can see
it.
so in your head, if you were to pair up, so you have to pair
The title like over there? 'Cause it's
these are the laws on the left, and this is the analogy. So all we have to do is tell me, one goes with what, like 1C, one. So like the engine and fuel that propel the vehicle forward, it should be the law of labor, right? So 1B. Let's test. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work here. But if I did this and check my answer, he would say that, yeah.
Good job.
Anyone else wants to try another par, another pair?
A10.
8, 10.
Letter A, number 10.
So 10A. Okay. Yeah, you got it.
Law of reproduction is gonna be that, ensuring they're 8, so whatever.
Which one?
I guess
Insurance.
you would
Okay.
law of reproduction, C8, law of reproduction, new drivers.
8C. Let's see if we get yeah, you got it.
4H.
4H. There you go.
What's 4 and H again? It's,
4 is law of equality, and all drivers are subject to the same traffic laws. More.
J9.
J9.
Or 9J.
Oh,
It works both ways.
did it? Let's see. No, it didn't. You're right. No, so I have
It's
to
gonna
do.
be I through.
It's
I
very
three.
particular. 9J. Yeah.
5, G for progress, right? Instructions.
5G. Yeah. Oh no.
No, that's not.
Oh.
Ah, good. Well, it works.
So that's law of destruction, it's
5E.
5E. Let's see.
So
Oh, there you go.
law of freedom is gonna go to 3, like I 3.
What is it?
3I.
3I.
Oh yes, it's very, very particular. I could have instructed it to do.
Yeah, I should have the.
Yeah. So we're almost there. Okay.
7F.
What is that?
7F, sharing the road, law of society.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, we got this.
2G, the.
2G.
Right.
No, 2D.
D as in
D.
2D,
Right.
which is the preservation, 2D. And then we are left with 6, which is the forward direction of the journey, and the map of evolution is how we operate our vehicles. So that is 6G. And beautiful. You've completed the divine laws matching game that AI prepared for me. Isn't that beautiful? So, now, coming back to where we were. Come on. There we go. Cool. Okay. Oh, yes. So now you learn. You cannot claim that, no, I forgot,
The rules.
I don't care, I forgot. No, you haven't. So now, how do you use this? What do you do with this, right? So how do we make good use of this great learning on a day-to-day basis? And Kardec was an expert asker. Obviously, like Socrates. So he asked a lot of questions, and he asked the spirits, many of them, what's the best way to do this? What's the best way to do that? How can I improve, for example, right? Remember the answer he got when he said, what's the best way to improve? What answer did he get?
Practice the law
Know
of
yourself. Know yourself.
Know yourself. Exactly right. He said the first thing is to know yourself, right? Because if you don't know yourself, you don't know how many of these laws you actually know or that you're breaking. So that's the very first step. So self-awareness seems to be a pretty good step, right? Was it Saint Augustine that every night before going to bed, he kind of did this exercise. He went through his day. He said, what did I do well? What did I do well? What opportunities did I miss?
If I helped others.
Did I help others, right? So it was an exercise of self-awareness, which in our driving analogy is checking your mirrors, blind spots, know your thoughts and actions. So again, from the chosen, watch and pray. That's what he told the disciples, watch and pray. And what did the disciples do? They fell asleep twice. Twice. And he was like, I can't believe this. And they're like, Master, but we really want that. And Jesus was very kind. He said, yes, I know the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak, right? Because sometimes we really want to do things, but fall asleep, right? We're just tired. But self-awareness is a good first step. Accountability is another big one, is becoming your own driver. It's like, taking responsibility for how we drive and owning the consequences of what we do. And I don't know about you, but something very, very upsetting is happening to me. So when I grew up, you were supposed to own your actions, right? The word ghosting didn't exist. Did it?
No.
I don't know what ghosting was. I had to learn ghosting just a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. And now it's a thing. And I'm telling you, it's happening to me. People ignore me. I don't know about you.
They don't like you anymore.
I mean, like blindly, they ignore me. And people that were interacting with me up to a point when the interaction was no longer interesting. Professional interaction, just to be clear. Giselle. To be absolutely clear, I'm talking about a professional relationship. They just ghosted me. Like they won't respond. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you are all used to it. I'm not. I know it's a thing. I know it's called ghosting, but I thought it happened to other people. not gonna happen to me.
Americans,
They'll-
Americans are really good at it.
Are they?
We're like fast.
Wow.
Way better than Brazilians. Brazilians
Oh,
are-
yes, yeah, Brazil don't like that at all. We don't like it.
But we're there, right?
Yeah. So this, I think no, I'm saying this jokingly, but I think we do have a crisis. We have many crises happening right now, which is sad, but is also a sign of transformation. When you get to a point where a lot of crises start to happen, it's a pretty bright sign that things are about to change, because you need a crisis. Otherwise, we don't move. We are very lazy. You need to be very painful. Things need to be in a crisis. And some Chinese, maybe Confucius, or some very bright said that never let a crisis go to waste, because crises are tremendous opportunities for us to impart change. And there's many crises happening right now. And this is one of them. And I see them every day because I work, and like nobody takes accountability for anything. It's very hard to find someone who says, I'm the person. Come talk to me. I'll help you. Sometimes it happens and it's fantastic, but it's rare. It's getting more and more rare that people actually say, the buck stops with me. There used to be even a saying, the buck stops with me. Now the person disappeared, the buck disappeared, everything disappeared. I mean, you can find anyone. Like, where's the buck? Where's the person? Right?
Yeah.
Behind the computer, behind the
That's
Zoom
right.
meetings and, just kind of.
It's insane.
Forget.
But then we can model this. We can model this, right? We can be the ones. I mean, that's again, I still don't understand half, honest to God. I don't. The Chosen made me very happy, but very confused, I have to say, because Jesus, I mean, he took too much accountability. I mean, he just put himself out there, and he never ran away from anything, right?
He was the model.
He was the model,
right.
but it's incredible, right? Like it is incredible.
You can do it. See, I do it.
That's right.
So
So then we move to charity and love, which is is never missing an opportunity to be of help. It's just the best way I can understand it is shifting the focus from me to the other person, right? Because we are very concerned with ourselves. We wake up in the morning and we are thinking about me, and we go back to sleep and me. And then once you start noticing people around you, you're like, what is that the other person is going through? Do they need any help? Then things change, right? That's the first step for us to really start practicing charity and love, is you have to notice. And again, Christ was incredible, right? He knew deep inside, he knew everybody. He knew exactly what each person was going through. And what has become, I thought I knew this, but what became very clear is that repeatedly, when someone said, "You cured me," what did he say?
Your faith. Your faith cures you.
He said, "No, I didn't do anything. You did. You're the one who took accountability. It was your faith." And sorry for abusing the Chosen, but I have to. Still fresh in my memory. The two things that I noticed about Christ, right? One thing that got him extremely excited, and one that got him really upset. He was very excited when he found someone with a strong faith. That was like, it would make his day. He found someone, he's like, oh my goodness. And he would tell people, like, look at this person. Look how deep their faith is, how strong their faith is. And that was what he was looking for. That's all he asked. And hypocrisy was something that made him deeply upset. He couldn't stand it, right? He had a problem with the Pharisees, and you are hypocrites, right? When people, especially people who were given authority to do things and pretended like they did but really didn't, oh my goodness, the man would go crazy, right? I mean, the temple. I'm still processing the temple. I have to tell them, And then we have to follow guidance. Let's talk about this. I have a special chapter on following guidance. It's the cheat codes. You see, there's all cheat codes. Even here, we can find a little shortcut. Because like, you don't want to be overwhelmed. Like, I mean, you see all these things. I mean, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? It's too many rules, right? So the question is, do we need to memorize all of this? What do you think?
No.
That's the answer. It's no. See how great, how loving the creator is, that he created all of this and said, I'll make it easy for you. You don't have to remember everything. I'll explain to you. You should study it, but you don't have to remember. I'll make it very easy for you. I'll give you Eduardo and the matching game. No, that's not the That's not gonna do it. So why is that we don't need to memorize?
Is that right?
Okay, so the first thing we learn is that we have a built-in GPS. It's written in our conscious. These laws are written in our conscious. And if you don't think it is, then you have a hearing problem. And we all have a hearing problem because our conscious is sometimes screaming. And what we do? La 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 la, right? It's like, no, I'm not gonna listen.
Yeah.
Right? How many times did you have the little voice telling you, don't do it, or go here, or go there, or do it, and you found 20 reasons not to do it, or vice versa? Right? So one thing is having this conscience, and not only do we have a conscience, the Father is so loving, he said, I'm going to give you also a protector. Each one of us has, in Catholicism, it's a guardian angel. Spiritism is the same thing. It's a spiritual protector. It's just a spirit that is a little higher than we are in elevation, and they come on a mission to help us. And it's 24/7, free. It's there for us to call. And we don't call. And when we call, we don't like the answer, we hang up. No, wrong number. Right, it's not me. I'm not gonna do it. What? You want me to go and reconcile with that person? No way, I'm not doing it. No. Go. You see how old I am? I still hold the phone like this. You see? I'm very sorry. Yeah. Oh my goodness. We try to be hip, but we can't escape. We are old. Yeah. Yeah, it's natural. I'm still holding the phone like this. Anyways, so we tell people that we tell them we don't want to do it because it's hard sometimes, right? I mean, there are things that we know we have to do inside. We know we have to do. It's there. Not like it's not there. You know you have to do it, but it's hard, and we don't want to do. So again, it's free will. It's the manifestation of free will, but we can't complain or we can't blame things because we all have an abundance of signals of what we need to do. It's not for the lack of knowledge or guidance. Is taking accountability. Do I really want to do what I need to do? And the second one is, again, we have the perfect instructor. Even if we missed every class, he came and said, let me show you how to do this. And all he asked the disciples to do was one thing: follow me. That's all he said. Just follow me. I'll show you. Just follow me and learn, and you know what you have to do, right? And we know that Jesus. So right. So for those who are new to Spiritism, Kardec organized all this information in the Spirits book, which is one of 5 books that make up the foundation of Spiritism. And he starts with God. Right? It's the first question: what is God? Not who is God. What is God? And the Spirits go through that in a very eloquent way, always short but eloquent. And then he went through a number of chapters about the life on earth, life in the spiritual realm, coming back to life, coming back to the spiritual world or reincarnating. And then on question 625, way past the middle of the book, he asked the spirits. He said, if there is a model who is the model? What is the model? What, should we, is there a model for us? And the spirits were very clear. They just said, follow Jesus, right? That
And Jesus, that's the shortest
it's
answer.
it's very, because,
Yeah.
that is the model. That was the model we have been given. That's the model. Highest great spirit that we have known. Are there higher? Likely. Everybody has a boss. I have one sitting right there, right? We all have bosses. So someone, we have, and ultimately God, right, is the boss. But we have been given Jesus as the model, and He is the perfect model. So we really don't have to think too hard. And yes,
May I say something?
of course.
This is so important, because it is what Jesus told, taught us, and lived, right? When people say Jesus in the sense of you just need to be Christian, that's not it. It is to live what he taught us. For us who have friends and husband and others in our lives that are not Christians, but they are the best people ever. They do everything that we talk about, that we learn. So I like to emphasize that that's the message about living what Jesus, obviously in Spiritism, Jesus is our, we believe, we follow, and it's the model, and I'm not denying that. I'm just emphasizing the lessons,
Yeah.
what he
But
lived
it's
and showed us.
But it's a great,
right?
it's a great point, Tanya, which is you don't have to be Christian to be good. I mean, so at one point in our existence, we will realize who is who, and at that point, you naturally gravitate towards whoever you have to gravitate to. You don't have to, right? I mean, that's one great thing about Spiritism that captivates most of us is there's no hard rules. I mean, you don't have to do this or that. You come here when we study, and then you choose what you want to do with your life, right? I mean, the whole point of the spirits is exactly what Jesus did, which is let me explain to you what I have to do. But he was extremely caring. How many times did he say to the disciples, "You are not going to understand it right now"? He said, "You're gonna understand it in time." In time, but like there's no rush. You don't have to become me tomorrow. You don't have to become perfect tomorrow. You will understand in time, right? And this is what we are all going through. We all have our own pace, and that's perfectly fine, right? Some people like to drive fast. Some people take the rightmost lane and just take their time and just cruise, and that should be fine too, right? So what is the goal then after we've gone through all of this? And what we learn also in Spiritism is exactly the point that I was just making. The goal is not to become the next Ayrton Senna, although I would like to. Some people know I've been trying. But is to become better, right? And some of the higher spirits said, you Spiritists, you will be known for just putting effort to becoming better. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be saints. The true Christian is that is trying to get better, right? So how to become better, wiser, and especially more loving, right, towards one another. And that leaves us with the final question. How is your? You don't have to answer. That's a question for all of us to reflect upon and to continue to ponder. Right? It's a literally a lifelong exercise, and there's no deadline. There's no target date. There's just the process, and we can move as fast as we want to. And but it feels good when you know at least you think you know what you're doing, and you kind of avoid some of the biggest pitfalls, right? And just stop doing stupid things. I like to stop doing stupid things, right? We do a lot of those, and I kind of feel proud of myself when I avoid those. I'm like, okay, I could have said that now, but I kept my mouth shut. Right? I'm like, ooh, victory! I have an ulcer now, but I kept my mouth shut. And this is something that AI also prepared for me. There you go. How's my driving? Yeah. As if Jesus needed to. Thank you all. I think I don't know if we have time, no time.
Yeah, we have time. Time to back. Yeah.
Of course, my pleasure. And thank you, AI.